Welcome to Tina's Teacher Cafe. Today the product that we are going to be demonstrating is the atom. It should look like this. This is the finished product in the student science notebook. I'm going to show you what the product contains and how to assemble it. The product contains 2 atoms per page and 2 pages. One of them that's in color to save time, or in black and white where you can have your students color in the protons, the neutrons, and the electrons as well as their charges. 2 per page saves money. You also get a list of instructions on how to assemble the atom in the scientific notebook, as well as points to stress when you're assembling them with your students. While you do get 2 printouts and you can print them out on paper, it is recommended for better effect to print them out on transparency, as you'll see in the finished product. Materials that your students will need are scissors, regular liquid glue or glue stick, fasteners, any size, small will do. You can find something like this at a hobby store or a craft store, usually about $500 for about $3 or less. Pencil colors or markers, depending on what you want to use with your students. And of course, a hole puncher for the fasteners. I'm now going to show you how to assemble them in your science journal. Once again, I will be using the paper printout, even though it is recommended that you use the transparency, and you'll see why in a minute. After you hand these out to the students, naturally, each student gets 1/2, which will be cut out. The idea here is that we're going to be taking the nucleus, which is comprised of the protons and neutrons, and keep it separate from the electron cloud, which contains the electrons. When these 2 are cut out, you then place one on top of the other. Then with the hole puncher, simply make a punch. And with one of your fasteners, fasten both the protons and neutrons together. It doesn't matter which one you want to layer on top of the other, as long as both the protons and the neutrons are fastened. Once they're fastened together, you get this swivel effect right here. This shows that the protons and neutrons are actually not only the same mass, but are found together in the nucleus of the atom. This is where the transparency comes into place. The paper doesn't show quite as well as a transparency would that both the protons and the neutrons are roughly the same size, which means they are the same mass. However, they do carry 2 different charges. Neutrons are neutral, protons are positive, and together they make the nucleus of the atom. When assembling the atom in the scientific notebook, naturally you'll want to give it the title, the atom. You're going to place the electron cloud on one side. This can be done by placing a small dot of glue on the back and simply holding it down, pressing down for about 10 seconds, and then releasing. The entire electron cloud does not need to be glued down. We want to emphasize to the students that it's more of a cloud, even though they have been taught levels, rings, and shells. The enduring concept here is that electrons are found floating within areas called the electron cloud. Next, the nucleus of the atom should be somewhere on the side, either in a pocket or envelope. These right here you can find at any teaching or craft store, and these usually have a self-adhesive on the back. If not, you can also glue that, or the student can simply make a pocket by doing this, folding down the top corner, adding glue to the very bottom, gluing down, and this is where the student can store the nucleus of the atom. Why do we keep these 2 separate? Because it's important to understand that these 2, although put together, make the atom, have their own subatomic particles that need to be understood. Here's an example of a setup for the atom and this foldable. Here we have the title, and we talk about how These three parts, the protons, neutrons, and electrons, make up the atom. They are color-coded with their proper electrical charges. The electron cloud, once again, emphasizing that it's not necessarily levels, shells, or rings. That's what they've been taught. But the enduring understanding is that there are areas in which electrons are found. These also have a key for the electron, as well as its definition, as well as simple facts that talk about the electron. On the other side, where you're going to keep the nucleus and the pocket, you also have a key for the neutron and the proton, talking about each of these subatomic particles and their charges, as well as what it means. The proton number equals the atomic number. When put together, it gives the student an understanding that the electron cloud is floating around the nucleus. And when compared to protons and neutrons, the electrons are actually significantly smaller, even though they have a negative charge and neutrons have a neutral charge and protons have a positive charge. This is an area of confusion for students, but when they construct something like this, it is easily seen, taken apart, and held in their hand. This is something that they will remember because they can feel it and they can see it. There are endless possibilities. You can make your own notes, quizzes, questions, tests. Once again, in the packet, Atomic Foldable, you will be receiving 2 atoms per page and 2 pages, one in color, one in black and white, as well as instructions step by step, emphasizing some of the facts, as well as what are some of the enduring concepts that students are going to need, as well as materials for this foldable project.